This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review, NFL Super Bowl 51 preview. I am breaking this game down in every angle you could possibly imagine. We're going to look at the side. We're going to look at the total. We're going to look at a bunch of props. I have 5 props that I'm going to recommend at the end of this video, and just some general thoughts on maybe some other good places to look for solid prop wagers for Super Bowl 51. But let's break down this game. This is a fantastic matchup. The New England Patriots taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The number has stayed pretty much on pat at -3 New England across the board. Total open 57.5. It's now up to about 58.5, 59 in most locations. Look, there are great cases to be made for either of these two teams from a betting perspective in this game. There's no denying that. This is the 7th Super Bowl for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with the New England Patriots. That's a tremendous accomplishment. There is no denying that. But here's why this number is, in my opinion, in such a great place. New England -3. New England has won their share of Super Bowls, but they've not necessarily dominated in any of them. They've done enough to win. They haven't beat themselves with mistakes. They've done enough to get the job done, but very rarely in past Super Bowls have we seen this New England Patriots team dominate the opponent. And in fact, New England's 0-4 against the spread as favorites in the Super Bowl since the 2002 Super Bowl that they were in, the first one during this Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era of dominance. That's 0-4 against the spread as a Super Bowl favorite for this New England team under Brady and Belichick. That's a concern if you're going to lay these kind of points here with New England. They've had a hard time winning by margin. Every single of New England's 6 previous Super Bowl appearances since that 2002 Super Bowl have been decided by 4 points or less. They've been very tight football games. New England, the key matchup to me is, do you believe Atlanta's defense has improved? Because we know Atlanta's offense historically good this season. Matt Ryan was phenomenal. This offense has just a boatload of weapons, not only at wide receiver, but Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, a tremendous duo in the running back spot. The question is going to be, can Atlanta's defense neutralize Tom Brady? I mean, the Atlanta defense, to me, their full season stats are not going to be impressive, not at all. In fact, not very good numbers. But if you look at the way Atlanta's defense picked it up in December and into the playoffs, they played a lot better. And for as much talk about Atlanta's defense having, question marks coming into this Super Bowl game, New England's defense has some question marks too. New England's defense faced the 32nd worst weakest strength of schedule in the NFL this season. And look at the quarterbacks New England went up against. We talked about it in the AFC Championship preview as well. Carson Palmer, Ryan Tannehill, Brock Osweiler, Tyrod Taylor, Cody Kessler, Charlie Whitehurst, Andy Dalton, Colin Kaepernick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jared Goff, Joe Flacco, Trevor Siemian, Bryce Petty, Matt Moore. Best quarterback they faced in the regular season was Russell Wilson, and he had a field day against this New England defense. Now, Ben Roethlisberger was supposed to be just as tough a matchup for this New England defense as Russell Wilson, but they fell behind early. Le'Veon Bell got injured. That completely altered Pittsburgh's offensive game plan in that AFC Championship game. I still have question marks about just how good New England's defense is. They were very good in the red zone. That's going to be put to the test here against this Atlanta team. The bottom line is here, I made the recommendation. I'm going with Atlanta plus the 3 from a side perspective in Super Bowl 51. The way I see it, I think Atlanta, I know they don't have the experience as a team top to bottom that New England has for this Super Bowl, but still have some question marks with this New England defense and just how good it is. Great arguments and cases to be made for both of these teams. We know New England would love nothing more than to win this Super Bowl, see Roger Goodell have to squirm like crazy in the post-game Vince Lombardi trophy presentation and have to hand the trophy to either Robert Kraft or Belichick or Brady when they win that Super Bowl. They'd love nothing more than that. But I think this Atlanta team has been very good, and they're going to test this New England team. So it's a tough decision, and it was a very tough decision for me from a side perspective. But I'm going with Atlanta plus 3 here in Super Bowl 51. A couple of things that I'm going to look at in terms of the total. Total sitting at 58.5, 59. It's too high for me to bet the over. I was initially leaning to the over. It opened as low as, it was actually 54 before the championship games ended last 2 weeks ago on that Sunday. Quickly got bet up. It opened everywhere across the board, 57, 57.5, and now it's gone up to 59. It's just a little bit too high for my liking to bet the over. I think a very good totals bet that I've got in my pocket already for this game is the first quarter to go under 13.5. I am not personally betting the full game total before the game. I'm going to bet the first quarter under 13.5. And really my thinking here is pretty simple. New England's 6 previous Super Bowl appearances during this Brady-Belichick run, they failed to score a point in the first quarter in all of them. And all of them have been very low scoring. I don't think New England's going to be looking to chuck the ball downfield and look for big play, quick strike touchdowns, especially in the early going. I think they're going to be methodical, gradually move the chains, it short to intermediate routes, run the football with either Dion Lewis or LeGarrette Blount. I don't think it's going to be a New England team looking to be overly aggressive early in the game. And Atlanta, as explosive as they are on the offensive side of the ball, this is the big stage now, Super Bowl 51. A lot of these guys haven't been to this kind of big setting before. Some early jitters could set in. May see some drop passes, just may not see that sharpness offensively right off the hop from Atlanta. So I like under in the first quarter, 13.5. And then I'm going to be looking to bet the in-game over probably as we get into the second quarter. Look for a much lower live in-game total to bet over. That's my strategy when it comes to the total. So I'm going to look under first quarter. Expect things to start out a little bit slow, and then as the game progresses, I expect the scoring to gradually pick up, and would probably look to bet a live in-game over after the first quarter. If we get something like 7-0, 7-3, 6-0, 6-3, after the first quarter, you're going to get a deflated total in terms of a live in-game total to bet. And that's definitely what I'd be looking at, is a live in-game total. Something, in the low 50s, maybe even high 40s, but certainly low 50s. Be able to look at betting that up and over the total live in-game. I think that's a pretty solid strategy when it comes to the total for this Super Bowl. All right, let's get to the fun stuff now, the props. I'm going to give you 5 prop recommendations. I've already bet these. I'm going to, 5 Dimes is the sports book where I got most of these props. Let's start out with defensive or special teams touchdown. I bet this one no at minus 200. It's a hefty price to bet. But these two quarterbacks combined for just 9 interceptions this season. Two quarterbacks that just don't make mistakes very often. You've got two teams that don't have an abundance of special teams, kick return, explosive playmakers, or on defense in terms of guys that can intercept a pass and take it back to the house. So I think no defensive or special teams touchdown, no minus 200, a little bit of juice to lay there, well worth doing. That's the first prop I'm going to look at. Second prop I'm going to recommend, this is one's a little bit of a take a shot type of prop here, but will there be a missed extra point? The yes is plus 280. I think it's a great price, and I really think it's got a better chance to cash than that plus 280 price would indicate. Will there be a missed extra point? Yes, plus 280. This was not at all a great year for NFL kickers in terms of extra points. A record number of missed PATs this season across the NFL. You look at Steven Gostkowski in particular for the Patriots. He missed 4 extra points this season. Matt Bryant missed an extra point in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay. I think at plus 280, we've got a better chance than that price would indicate that there will be a missed extra point in this game. So I think that is a prop that is worth a look. How about number of Atlanta Falcons with a rush attempt? I'm going to go over 3.5, minus 135 with that prop. Number of Atlanta Falcons with a rush attempt over 3.5. The Atlanta Falcons have had 4 different players with a rush attempt in each of their 2 playoff games. I think we see that continue here. You know you're going to get rushing carries from Devontae Freeman, from Tevin Coleman, probably from Matt Ryan. We've seen him not be scared to pull the ball down and take off with it. He had a rushing TD against Green Bay in the NFC Championship game. Those are 3 players with a rush attempt right there. And I think there will be a 4th as well. You look at Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, all of those receivers for the Falcons absolutely have the potential to carry the ball at least once in this game on an end around, a double reverse, a trick play of some kind. And Kyle Shanahan, very innovative offensive coordinator for this Falcons, not scared maybe to put some wrinkles into the playbook. So I think it's very reasonable to see 4 or more Falcons with a rush attempt in this game. Over 3.5, -135 makes some sense to me. Dion Lewis, total receiving yards, over 22.5, -135. I think that's a very good prop as well in this game. A lot of questions as to whether Lewis or Blunt are going to be the lead running back for the Patriots in this game. I'm not going to do a guessing game as to who that's going to be. So that could skew in terms of how many carries Dion Lewis gets and how many rushing yards he gets. But I think you're going to see him, Josh McDaniels, this New England offense, they're going to put him in situations where he can catch the ball out of the backfield. They've liked using him in this kind of role in the past, and he's very, very fast in the open field, very shifty. And I think he can go over 22.5 receiving yards. He has that ability to make people miss. And I don't know if he's going to be the focal, hand the ball off, carry it type of running back. I think that might be Blunt in this game, but I do think they're going to use Lewis in screen passes, in pass-catching situations. So I don't mind Lewis over rushing attempts or over rushing yards, but I definitely prefer over receiving yards with Dion Lewis because I think he might be more used in a pass-catching role than a just straight, hand the ball off, give it to him to run the football kind of role in this game. Let's go with a cross-sport prop because this one's pretty good. For my 5th prop, Isaiah Thomas points versus New England Patriots points. Isaiah Thomas -0.5. I like Isaiah Thomas -0.5. Now, Isaiah Thomas, this game is for the LA Clippers versus Boston Celtics game on Super Bowl Sunday, February the 5th. Look, Isaiah Thomas is on fire. If anyone pays attention to the NBA for the Boston Celtics, Isaiah Thomas, the point guard's just been magnificent. He's piled up 35 or more points in 7 of his last 9 games. That means if he gets to that number on Sunday against the Clippers, New England's going to have to score at least 34 points or more than 34 points for us to lose this prop. And I don't think that's going to happen. It's important to note that Chris Paul, of course, is still out due to injury for the Clippers. It means Raymond Felton is going to be matched up against Isaiah Thomas in that Clippers-Celtics game. Not the same on-ball defender as Paul. Paul's a great defender at the point guard spot. Felton, not so much. And let's not forget what Steph Curry did for the Golden State Warriors against the Clippers last Saturday. Only scored 43 points against them. So the point guard spot offensively has burned this Clippers team recently without Chris Paul on the basketball court. So I think Isaiah Thomas can have another huge monster offensive output against the Clippers. New England is not, to me, going to be looking for quick strike, big play offense. So they're going to need to be very efficient, very high level of execution from them. I think to score more than in the mid-30s in terms of points in this game. And I think Atlanta's defense, as I mentioned earlier, I think it is better now than it was early in the season. And I think Thomas can outscore the Patriots on Sunday. So Isaiah Thomas points -0.5 versus New England Patriots points. I think Thomas, decent way to look with that prop on Super Bowl Sunday. All right, those are the 5 props. Just in general, I think, the coach's challenge, play overturned, -130 is probably worth a look. Actually, it's down to -110 right now, but you got 2 coaches. They're smart, Dan Quinn and Bill Belichick. They value timeouts. They're not going to throw a challenge flag unless they're pretty damn confident they're going to win it and get the play overturned. So I think first coach's challenge for that play to be overturned, -110. Pretty decent prop there. Malcolm Mitchell, as well as total pass receptions under 3. Decent look as well. He's caught 3 or fewer passes in each of his last 3 games. He had a knee injury late in the season. It's a situation that kept him out of the final regular season game against Miami. He didn't play in the divisional playoff game against Houston. He came back against Pittsburgh in the AFC title game, Malcolm Mitchell, but only caught 1 pass. I think Malcolm Mitchell under 3 pass receptions, -130. I think that's a solid prop. I don't see Malcolm Mitchell having a big impact on this football game for New England. I think Tom Brady's going to be looking at, Edelman, Hogan, Martellus Bennett, Amendola. Dion Lewis out of the backfield in terms of pass catchers, a lot more than he looks toward Malcolm Mitchell in this Super Bowl. So Mitchell under 3 pass receptions also makes a little bit of sense to me. And just in general, from an Atlanta perspective, I think I prefer to stay away from Julio Jones props in this Super Bowl. I'm not saying I'm betting the under Julio Jones props because it's always scary with him considering how good he is. But I'm not looking to bet him over his receiving yards, longest reception, and any of that stuff because I do believe New England's going to put an emphasis defensively on Julio Jones, much like they tried to take away Antonio Brown in the AFC Championship against Pittsburgh. So just in general, look to maybe bet some over props with Mohamed Sanu for the Falcons. Look to maybe bet some over props for Taylor Gabriel for the Falcons because I think Sanu and Gabriel are going to have a much bigger impact on this game for the Atlanta offense because I just get that feeling New England's going to be looking to take away Julio Jones and negate his impact. It means Matt Ryan may have to look in different directions in terms of who he throws the football to. Sanu and Gabriel would be those quote-unquote next man up receivers for Atlanta if Julio Jones is taken away by the New England defense. So Sanu and Gabriel over props definitely make some sense to me. All right, that's about it. I've given you a bunch of props, given you my side and total leans. Now it's time to play Super Bowl 51. New England Patriots, Atlanta Falcons, Sunday night. Should be a great game. Looking forward to it. Thank you to all the Sportsbook Review viewers for tuning into my NFL videos all season long. It's been a lot of fun. Hopefully you made some money, some profits based on some of the recommendations and advice that I have provided throughout the NFL season. I appreciate the support. I even appreciate the negative comments because it makes me want to be better. So thank you again to everyone that tunes in here at Sportsbook Review.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.